One day, I will finally meet a mineralogist, and I will ask him or her, why do blue crystals always grow in half-circle patterns? I mean, why not clusters or random deposits? Don't question a good thing, I suppose. You know what else is a really good thing? Taking care of your hunger. For me, I like to get some ham and cheese and put it on a Byun!
Current world rank 10.
Years from now, when people ask, when did that Zugzwang channel hit rock bottom? Sadly, the answer will be the ham and cheese Byun intro. The South Korean legend of Micro deserved better. Our Protoss player, however, must be introduced by Admiral Akbar. It's the Rebel Alliance general who taught us.
It's a trap!
World ranked 4.
While I'm goofing around, Byun's got an SCV out on the map and it's making its way into the Protoss base here. This could be an early scout, but I think you and I know better. It's an eBay block. Byun's gonna pay 125 minerals and make it difficult for Trap to expand. Trap hasn't even seen it yet. The reason is he put his gateway in the Reaper block position up on the high ground. I do believe I've just learned one more downside risk to that positional build. The probe's gonna come down and now he's gonna see it. The probe did plant the cyber core first. Even after he puts down a pylon, he's still sitting on excess minerals. Trap's gonna chrono boost a zealot to deal with this. The ripple effect of that eBay block is already starting to be felt. I really doubt Trap woke up this morning and said, ooh, TVP, let's start off with the zealot. Byun's factory's underway and he's started his orbital command. Byun did not make a Reaper, he made a Marine, and it's gonna kill the scouting probe, and that'll be a first blood. Byun's such a killer, he doesn't even blink, he just drops a mule right on its corpse. Trap's still trying to clear out that eBay. He's like, I'm never gonna participate in an internet auction again. Byun's gonna need to cancel if he wants his 75% refund. But he also wants to squeeze every second out of this that he can. Trap pauses his demolition to put down a starport. The eBay does not give Byun vision of that. There's the cancel. And yeah, Trap's expansion nexus is annoyingly delayed. Byun's command center is already started, and he's building a widow mine out of that factory, even before add-on. Not a bad tactic, because he knows he's forced a zealot out of his Protoss opponent. And since Trap has no other use for it, he's quite likely to send it over, which he is. Starport goes down and Byun's adding Marines. He did get his reactor. The starport's gonna finish up for Protoss. Oh, look at that nasty burrow site. With the health bars, you can't really get vision of the mine unless you rotate with your camera. Byun is not gonna be rotating his camera. Oh, it's a Phoenix first out of that starport. Warp gate's halfway done, Byun adding an additional mine. A second gateway for Trap. He's got 2 adepts acting as his door guard. And now a Hellion for Byun. I'm not sure what either player has in mind. Trap's gonna try to use his zealot as a scout. He better hope he keeps it on the periphery. Second Phoenix after the first. Trap's gonna stockpile them. Oh, I just feel so bad for the zealot. He just got a brand new shiny Psyblade. Oh, dude, no. That's tragic. That poor dude will not be finishing his lifelong goal of completing his coin collection. There's no armory yet, so that mine is visible while it's on cooldown. Trap's gonna dispatch his Phoenixes. The bright side is Protoss will know where the Terran defense is for the next few seconds. Oh, I think he's actually gonna go at the mine. Oh yeah, he wants revenge. He lifts it right up. He's gonna try to kill it. Byun's Marines are there for the save. And then he repairs it as soon as it falls. Byun really is the Micro Master. Oh, Trap had a chance to get that building SCV. He either missed it or decided to save his lift energy. Or he's just smarter than me and figured out that the Marines would be there to defend. 2 more Raxes going up for Byun, but also a Raven in production. Oh, as soon as the Marines step away, the Phoenix nail that building SCV after all. What a terrific sense of timing by Trap. Oh, now he's gonna get the Raven. He gets it. Props to Byun for managing to drop that auto turret, but he did not want to lose that Raven. That was a big investment. Those Phoenix are looking pretty smug. They've got revenge for that zealot at this point. And they're still going. The Marines got caught targeting the buildable plates. Not the priority right now, guys. Blow up the rocks that don't fight back on your own time. You've got a base to defend. I'm starting to get a feel why Trap is the #1 Protoss in the world right now. His Phoenix control is amazing. And now we've got a Twilight Council and a Forge. And Trap started his third. That eBay block is a distant memory at this point. It's almost like it somehow sped him up. Byun is already down 10 workers, but at least he's up on army. And he's starting up stim. That's one of the long ones, 100 seconds. Hellion's trying to dart into the Protoss base for the scout. Denied by Sentry Force Field. Trap is in the zone. He is a Trapazone. No, wait, that's a Trapezoid. I failed my elementary school shapes. Too bad there isn't a player named a Rhombus or a Dodecahedron. Those would be awesome IDs. Byun's Marines are getting fed up with the Phoenix. They're doing too much damage. They're attracting way too much attention. And they're making it way too hard for him to even think about getting his third down. Byun also wants to get a pair of medevacs out of his starport. That's going to be tricky right now. And Trap gets to review the blueprints to everything in Byun's base right now. Let's just hope there are no obvious engineering defects. Oh, have the Marines finally set up a sandwich? That's what he wants. A little vice maneuver, maybe a ham and cheese Byun. It looked good to me, but Trap managed to slither out. Oh, and now he's off to make his gateway explosion. He's going up to 6 gates, nope, 5. And he's adding zealot legs and +1 ground armor. Oh, Byun did manage to load up his medevacs and get them boosted out of his base without those Phoenix seeing. I didn't think he was going to be able to do that. Byun is so deadly with drops, this might be able to get him back into this. Does Trap know that he missed it? He should have seen them building earlier. Stim is done, combat shields is finishing up, +1 attack for Terran is just about done. The Marines in those medevacs are going to be ready. Byun's going to try to circle around the right-hand side. Trap's figured it out. He's pulling his Phoenix back. What a terrific game sense. Oh yeah, he's got the interception. Byun is so quick with the drop, but Trap doesn't care. He's going to go right at them anyway. This is not the staging area that Byun wanted to start his attack from. The Zealots are here and they've got legs. And as ZZ Top says, they know how to use them. Oh, this has gone horrible for Byun. There's not enough firepower to resist the Phoenixes and the medevacs are in trouble. They get mopped up. 2 Marauders are going to be the sole survivor of Byun's offensive. And he's going to pull his second attack team home. Byun had planned on a second strike force to hit the left-hand side. He's hit the cancel button on that. He wants to secure his third instead. He's building it straight on the low ground. He knows he needs to catch up. Oh, look at that. Trap swung his Phoenix to the left, right where Byun was going to go. Terrific anticipation by both our players. Trap gets a look at the Terran army with an adept shade. Trap is seeing a lot of mines out of Byun, which is why I think he's making a robo. I think he wants an observer. Stat! He's already made his battle duck, and he's starting a second forge. Meanwhile, Byun just keeps adding Raxes. Unless you count the Archons that Trap's just making right now, there's no splash in the Protoss army yet. That's one piece of good news for Byun. The fact that the Phoenix are back in his main does not fit in the good news column. Byun does have a turret up, but I don't think it covers enough of his base. Oh, he's getting medevacs! Free medevacs! That is the heart of the Terran bio? That just hurts in so many ways. And just like that, Trap is ahead on workers and army. Oh, and he's recalling his Phoenix back to defend. Byun is trying to initiate a counterattack. Byun was kind of hoping if those Phoenix were in his base, at least his attacking army wouldn't have to deal with them. No such luck. The Phoenix are here and they go right at the Widow Mines. He's gonna lose so many of his Widow Mines. Byun has lost a huge damage component to his army and he is routed. Trap is not gonna give him an inch. He's gonna harass him the whole way home. Trap has so much lift energy. He's just grabbing everyone. This is like a terrible horror flick. Byun flees back to his base, but there's not really actually any defense there. Trap just assumes it and backs off. Okay, at this point, Byun is officially in a bad way. The only thing he's got going for him is right now he's outmining Trap. I'm not sure that's gonna last much longer once Trap saturates his 4th base. Trap will be up a base, and then I don't think that Byun's muling is gonna make up the difference. A shiny new Ghost Academy could help. We've seen Terrans turn the tables on Protoss before with well-placed electromagnetic pulses from ghosts. But there may not be enough time. Trap is already on his doorstep. The Widow Mines are not buried. Byun is gonna have to scramble. The narrow ramps are his best friend here. Trap is getting an extra robo in Blink. Oh, and he's gonna find himself a high ground position. That is a lot of Archon. Byun stims, and then he pulls back. This could be for the game. Force fields. There's a ton of congestion in the mineral line. The Marines are actually taking cover behind the mules. Trap loses a ton of his zealots and he pulls back. And now Byun tries to press his advantage. He needed this. He's got the larger army. Oh, additional force field split off the Marines. The zealots get their paws on them. It's a parting blow from Trap as he pulls away. That was one hectic frenzy in which this Warp Prism did totally not participate. But now that the dust is settled, what is clear is that Trap is completely outmining Byun. He's up 25 workers and a whole base. Oh, and he's eyeing his 5th. He's also started a robo support bay. He's gonna add Colossus or Disruptors. Byun is gonna add enhanced shockwaves. Getting that extra EMP radius is critical in my book. My book, like I've ever read a book. EMP's on the Phoenix. He can take out their shields and their lift energy. But Trap's just got him on all sides here. The mines sink down and they are firing on the Zealots. Trap's supply just drops, but he's still got the bigger army. The battlefield is just covered with wounded units. It looks like a rainbow or a lollipop. The Zealots are harassing the units all the way home. Byun has to stim to escape. The medevacs are going to have so much work to do. And he's only got 2 left. Oh, Trap has moved that Warp Prism. He has some kind of counter plan. Oh, the Widow Mines are still out there and they're off cooldown. Trap marches his whole army right into the minefield. Holy Hannah. That looked like the worst way to get rid of mines ever. But Trap only lost 2 units. He tanked it with his hardened shield and the huge hit points of Archons. And now Trap is even further ahead. Byun's down to his last 2 Widow Mines. But Byun's gonna try one of his patented bio drops. With the right location and timing, Trap can change the entire location of a game, but this is not what is happening. Trap has sniffed it out once again. He's gonna kill those medevacs. And he's gonna overwhelm the scattered bio. Byun is really getting punished at this point. He has been reducing the worker depth. Oh, there's a drop in the main. Having more workers doesn't help all that much if they can't mine. Trap has maxed out. He's just looking to find a way to close this game out. Byun's main has mined out, and so he's desperate to take his 4th. But Byun knows this is a terrible time. The 4th gets spotted by the Warp Prism as soon as it lands. Byun can chase off those Zealots, but the main army of Trap is right at his gate. And this time he's got Colossi. Byun has neither Vikings nor tanks. The splash is going to be a serious problem for his bio, especially since he's only got 4 medevacs. If it was anybody else, I'd say this was already over. Byun stims his Marines, but he doesn't have room to kite. The Zealots have him pinned in a corner. The Colossi are gonna feast on him. A huge round of 16 Stalkers show up and it's GG. Trap with a very convincing game 1. Protoss dominates that one from start to finish. This is about the only part that went right for Byun. That kind of deserves a slow-mo. It kind of looks like a children's toy rocket, but with much more impressive after effects. You probably remember Trap tried to get revenge on that Widow Mine. And when that didn't work, he went on to get revenge on Byun's entire economy. His Phoenix control is really something else. Killing that Raven really set Byun back. But worse, it kept Byun's Marines trapped in his base. Byun likes to get out there and hit his opponents from 7 different sides. And when he finally did get his medevacs out, that went bad for him too. But of the many cool things that the Phoenix did, here's where I think they won the game. The Phoenix torture a Widow Mine, then they recall. They teleport back to the 3rd. There's a shield battery there, but they don't even need it. Byun's got a killer 8 Widow Mines in his army, and they just get feasted on by the Phoenix. Trap manages to grab 4 of the 8 before they can burrow. And that is a TSN turning point right there. Byun has to run home, and he gets chopped up the whole way back. I'm just going to play that back one more time in slow-mo, because I think that needs to be certified as a
micro moment.
I never imagined Byun would be on the receiving end of one of these. Now, as long as I'm showing lifts, let me see if I can get us some close-up shots of some Marines wiggling around in zero gravity. You get to see queens and roaches floating around every day. Not so much Marines and Marauders. You know that reoccurring nightmare you have where you try to run away but nothing happens and you're not getting anywhere and then you wake up? Well, this is kind of that. Only I don't think those poor Marines actually got to wake up. And the trip back down for the scorched body is a nice touch too. Yes, I know I've got problems. But one of my biggest problems is I really want to get to Game 2, and I know a certain robot who can help me with that. Adjutant, if you would please.
Reminding caster the proper term is synthetic AI. I am not a robot. The game begins now.
That last game was so rough, I was worried the ref was going to call the whole series. Game 1 was a beatdown and it was all my fault. I gave Byun a terrible intro. That ham and cheese intro was unworthy. I gotta fix that right now. Let's call upon the legendary movie The Highlander and give our Terran one of the best quotes of all time. There can be only Byun! He's on his own now. That's as awesome as I can make it. Trap is gone for the macro positioning with his opening gateway. He's got his first pylon and his gate tucked up next to his nexus. Hey, our Protoss player has some advice for all the mice out there. You see a piece of cheese stuck on a wire, stay away, because it's a trap! Christopher Lambert versus a wire and a piece of wood. Sounds like a fair contest to me. Both players finishing up grabbing their first gas. Trap has sent his probe across the map. Protoss is ever hopeful that they can disrupt the Terran Rax build. The problem being that Protoss has been doing this for so long that the Terran players just defend this by rote. Second SCV peels off to battle that probe. The SCV has 5 more hit points than the probe. That means the probe can't battle it straight up. But if it breaks off and charges up its shields, it can get an advantage. Core goes down, Rax completes. Byun's gonna make a Marine again. Still no Reaper from the greatest Reaper player of all time. I get that. He's like, dudes, I can use other units. Trap tries to delay the command center, but it doesn't work. And it's a dangerous game because now that Marine is out. Whoa, Nelly, what is that probe down to? 1 health! 1 health! That is as close to death as a probe can be. Trap with a horseshoe up his butt denies the first blood. Core completes, and we have an adept being chrono boosted out. Also warp gate research, no tech choice. And look at this, Byun making a second Rax before factory. That's how you make a bio commitment. Byun reminding us that there are actually other Terran builds. Twilight Council for Trap. I've been watching so much PvZ, I'm immediately thinking Glaive Rush. But since this is Protoss versus Terran, there's other possibilities. And now Byun's adding an E-base, still no factory. Trap is setting his adept across the map. Just like Game 1 though, Byun is going to have a lot of Marines by the time it gets there. He's skipped the Reaper and he's got a reactor up. We'll have to see how this plays out. The adept is here, the shade coming in. It's an empty mineral line down there. Depot goes up and the shade is denied. Byun starts up a bunker. Hard to see how Trap's adept can get anything done now. Byun is going to send SCVs to his mineral line though. Oh, that's tempting. Does Trap want to trade? No, he does not. So Byun just takes 5 Marines and goes after him. The adept shields evaporate and she is on the run. The Marines are going to follow that shade back just in case. Man, I'd been really tempted to go after that mineral line again. But Trap wants to keep his adept alive more than he wants dead SCVs. Oh, Trap is researching Blink. Trap is a Blink Stalker legend in his own right. Robo goes down and I'm expecting to see observers come out of that. Trap can use those to get vision to blink into the Terran main. Until Terran gets stim, Stalkers can really out-micro the Marines. Byun has started stim, but that's a 100-second clock. Oh, please stand for the opening warp gate ceremony. Oh, and if you blinked and missed it, we have another one coming in for you. I mean, blink because you have eyelids, not because you're a stalker. Anywho, I'm expecting to see Trap accumulating stalkers, but it isn't happening so far. Instead, he's put his money into starting up his third nexus. He's up 6 workers. He's cheating a little bit on his army size. I'd be pretty nervous doing that against a guy with Byun's reputation. Though what he might be thinking is there's no way Byun comes until Stim's done, because that's just what Terran does. Okay, so I was right about the Observer at least, just not about the Stalkers. Blink is gonna finish, and so is +1 attack for the Terran. Byun's got his Marine in the middle of the map patrolling the primary attack path. If Protoss moves out, he intends to know about it. Trap's gonna use a hallucinated Phoenix to get his intel. They might have seen each other. If Byun intercepts, that Phoenix is gonna last about 0.2 seconds. He does not want to fly over that. Oh, Trap tries to correct, but Byun still evaporates it. Stim's gonna finish. We'll have to see if Byun's gonna get aggressive. He is making a starport, so there is a timing where he could wait for medevacs. Trap, though, looking like he might be the one pushing out. There are 4 + 1 for 5 Stalkers. That poor Marine is not long for this world. He becomes our first blood. We'll have to see where the Observer is, because there's a bunker out there. I don't see Trap getting by that bunker without the Observer. Yeah, Byun got the picture when his scout died. He's loaded his bunker. I am so wrong. The Observer's not giving sight to the Stalkers. He's doing a patrol of the Terran base. He's gonna watch the game of musical add-ons, including the cancellation of a tech lab on that factory. Oh, and then the Observer's gonna fly right into a missile turret. It did see combat shields underway. More interesting, though, is that Protoss has a battle duck and also zealot legs, and a much later +1 attack. Last game, Trap prioritized +1 armor. It's really neat how he switches it up for different scenarios. I'd really love to get to the level of thinking where I understand the rationale. That is a lot of bio. A salvage on the bunker, that's a symbol for go, go, go. Which is good advice for the Stalkers. They can't seriously be thinking about hanging around. I could see maybe getting 1 volley or something, but they need to be gone. Oh, is Byun faking the push so he could go for a drop instead? Or maybe he's just doing both here. There's a Marauder and 5 Marines in each medevac. 28 Marines for Byun. All with Stim and combat shield and +1. No tanks or Widow Mines though. This is a pure bio play. No, it's not a drop in the main. I'm not sure what his target is. He's going for the alternate 3rd location. There's no base there. Trap's adding Immortals. You know me, I love Immortals. They're good at almost everything. But against pure bio is like the one scenario where they're kind of subpar. They're okay, but they're very cost inefficient against a handful of Marines. Byun threatens the wall at the natural. Trap tries to split his forces with force fields, and Byun's like, I'm good with that. He does split off a Marauder on the right-hand side. But really, it kind of winds up being Trap who has his forces split. Protoss can't get the 2 halves of its army to fight together. Byun's taking them on one at a time. He's just outfoxing them. Oh, the Immortal goes down like a marshmallow. Byun is down to his last medevac, though. He can't really stim anymore. And now he definitely can't. Oh, fresh medevacs arrive. And now Trap has to rethink his commitment. Oh, Byun has managed to save so much of his bio there. And now he's gonna supplement them with tanks. I think he's just trying to be polite and give Trap a reason for all the Immortals he's making. Or he could just say Trap correctly predicted the tanks were coming, which is why he was making Immortals in the first place. While Byun was very efficient, he did not do economic damage. He needs to get his own 3rd down to keep pace with the Protoss. Trap's Adept is gonna give her life to get the timing on that 3rd expansion. And now Trap's gonna add in Archons. I really like that decision. More than that, his battle duck is researching Storm. That's an alternate mechanism to get some splash on those Marines. He's also going up to 7 gates. But Byun's force is looking pretty scary. He's restocked his medevacs and his tanks. Byun's also researching concussive shells. I think that's such a good upgrade for this situation. A slowed stalker is a dead stalker. Oh wow, Byun's really gonna slow play this. He's setting up positions way back. He's setting up like a Brood War flash. Wait, am I seeing what I think I'm seeing? Whoa! Byun has pulled the boys. The nuns do not approve of this behavior. He wants them in front of his army. He's got to take a moment to reorganize. If Trap can hold this, he'll be so far ahead, but this is a tough hold. Trap hits the battery overcharge. But what battery? Byun splats it immediately. Trap just abandons his third. He leaves like he was catfished on a blind date. In a jealous rage, Byun's gonna annihilate his Nexus. We're gonna get ourselves a laser light show. And now Byun's actually gonna be ahead on workers. Trap's still out mining him, of course, because Byun's workers are all just kind of hanging around. They're like cheerleaders waving their pom-poms or standing by for repair duties. Trap retreats to his next shield battery. But fantastic position for the tanks on the high ground. Oh, split forces for Trap again. Byun knows just what he wants to do with those. Wow, this is starting to look as decisive for Byun as Game 1 was for Trap. Trap's like, I should have made Phoenix. He tries to counter, but there's a ton of bio there and a Liberator. The Warp Prism, though, could do something nasty. Trap's got a ton of gates and he's saved up a lot of money. A quadruple warp in of Stalkers on the high ground. If Trap could just find a way to delay Byun's army. Byun has to be worried about storms. Does Trap actually have enough to get control of Byun's production facilities? Trap has to fall back to his final ramp. This is gonna be interesting. I don't see how Trap holds this, but if he can delay it. Oh, but Byun does seem to be getting control of his main back. It looks like he's gonna be the first to get the cleanup. Trap needs to get his Warp Prism out of there. He does. He's just got this small other problem to deal with, this giant legion of bio at his doorstep. Suddenly all the Stalkers and Immortals are pretending to mine. The probes are like, oh, now you want to be laborers. Oh, Trap lost his forge, and the resources lost tab looks terrible for him. That didn't improve it. Do you need Nexuses to win this game? Byun is pumping out an obscene amount of bio at this point. An even trade will win him the game. Trap's gonna try to push back, but the tank fire's there. Do the Archons have the hit points to push this back? Sorry, what Archons? Were there Archons? Oh, there is one attacking from the rear, but that now constitutes the whole of Trap's army. Oh, sexy Warp Prism micro, but I guess that's easy to do when it's your last unit. Byun absolutely getting revenge for Game 1. It's GG. There can be only Byun. It's a tied series. Those two games were night and day. So Byun did two things in this game that I thought were quite awesome, and I want to show them to you real quick. Right around the 6.5 minute mark, Byun makes his all bio attack. He's got stim ho-hum. But what's unique here is where he hits on the map Oxide. He comes right up the middle, and that's pretty much never done. Protoss has his defense all at his third base, because naturally you assume your opponent is going to take the high ground. This was a counterintuitive way to attack. I didn't even understand it at the time, but boy did it work. Byun got way too much damage done with far too little. I mean, you can trade 6, 7, 8 Marines for a single Immortal and still be ahead, and Trap's nowhere near that. I almost think you have to be Byun, though, for this to work, because it looks to me like he basically wandered into the kill zone. Being on the bottom of 2 ramps is not normally considered good positioning, but I think Trap was so unready for it that Byun made it work. The second time Byun comes to attack, he does take the high ground on the left-hand side. And just let me pause here to show his tank position. I'm not saying he wins the game with this, but boy is that sweet. He's got high ground vision all over Trap's army. Trap is caught in a choke, and Byun's able to hit and eventually kill the robo. Byun's just one of those players who always knows how to exploit the map. It's like the rocks and trees and terrain are his ally and they're working against you. Anyway, enough of me getting emo about it. Let's get to Game 3. Adjutant, if you would, please.
Preparing to get jiggy with it. The game begins now.
And with a tied series, it's now a best of 1. And look at that, a suspicious probe at 6 o'clock. In terms of intros, I'll just say we finally turned the corner. We finally moved Byun! Maybe I should have said the game is only just Byun. You Game of Thrones fans will know what I mean when I say you shouldn't go to a wedding at House Frey, because it's a trap! Okay, so there was a high ground pylon for Protoss. and a gateway. But that probe is still looking awfully suspicious. Oh yeah, he's looking to hide a pylon. Are we looking at a cannon rush here or a hidden gateway? Seems a little too far back to be a cannon rush. Trap is going for cheese in the sudden death scenario. Double gas for Byun. I am on pins and needles now. I would have thought Trap would have wanted to go back to Phoenix after the difference between game 1 and 2. It's a gateway. Byun has no vision of that. And unless he scouts, he's not going to have vision there for quite some time. Trap's probe is actually gone and left. Oh no, he's coming back. I see. He's trying to pretend like this is his normal arrive timing. Don't mind me, I'm just the usual probe come to harass your racks. No change out of Byun for game 1 and 2. He's making a Marine out of his racks. Byun would like to get that probe, but he has no idea how badly he really wants it. He does not want that proxy to get reinforced. Trap needs to be careful or Byun's going to get vision of that. That was a very clever sales job by Trap there. You don't expect a proxy in the spot where the probe is actually dragging you towards. Alright, the Marine is out and he does get the probe this time. That's a first blood and it means the proxy is only going to be a single gate. There's no zealot being made in it right now. Trap waits for his core and then he makes a stalker. It's chrono boosted as well, so there's a subtle economic price that Trap is paying for this. Byun's gone ahead with his factory. He's doing that before his command center. That is lucky. I'm sure Trap's plan was that his first kill would be the SCV building that command center. But Byun's going for the early 1-1-1. If that stalker sneaks up the ramp, no, Byun sees it and closes the door. He cancels his Hellions and switches to a pair of Widow Mines. Trap has 2 stalkers in production. One in his proxy, one at home. Byun's gonna try to repair his front wall. Let the micro begin. Byun has to rotate his SCVs. His Widow Mines are about to come out. Trap can't have any detection at this point. But can he get them before they burrow? No, he cannot. And just like that, Byun takes back control of his ramp. Byun's making another pair of Widow Mines. And you can see his Rax is begging for the reactor. Oh, he is going to switch it out. He had to cancel the Widow Mines to do that. Byun's going to go for a high ground bunker instead. I don't love Trap's situation so far. Maybe he expands and switches this to a contain? Byun reorganizes his mines. Trap's ordered a robo. You can tell somebody wants an observer. It's going to be a long time before it gets here, though. Trap knows it. He's going now. He uses the Adept to screen for the mine, but does not get the mine kill. Instead, Byun gets a stalker. And then Byun unburies the mines and saves them with his medevac behind his wall. And now he's got a tank on the way. These stalkers are going to have a very short shelf life. In fact, Byun's thinking about offense. He might try to deliver those mines to the Protoss base. Oh, Trap would love to get that kill. He sees the medevac. A stalker's actually faster than an unboosted medevac. I think Byun needs to unload that puppy. It is a present for Trap. Just when everything was going wrong for Trap, that was a nice early pickup. Technically, Byun hasn't found the proxy yet, but he has to know it's there. Trap is getting his natural up. That gives him an easier goalpost. He gets ahead if he just delays Byun's economic progress. He doesn't have to kill him. Especially since now that there's a bunker with a tank behind it, he is so not getting up that ramp. He'll need a lot more stalkers. Byun is definitely trying for some kind of musical chairs add-on trophy thing here. Come on, building, stop being so lazy. Just get your own add-ons. Byun has made a single Viking, and he's now sending that over to the other side. I think he might have wanted something to kill Trap's observers. Now he's making himself a Raven. I don't really know what that one Viking can do, but it is Byun. Trap's even got a couple of his stalkers positioned back already. This is high-level anticipation. The Viking makes it to the natural. Oh, he's gonna land. A landed Viking versus 2 stalkers? Don't like his odds. But I bet Trap does. No probe pull, and Byun actually gets one probe. Trap goes for the half pull, where he tries to redirect them to one half of the mineral line. But it's too little too late. But 1 probe for 1 Viking isn't a great trade. Oh, Byun sees the blur. He sends his Raven, who drops the auto turret, and he gets it. That was some sweet play right there. Byun salvages his bunker to say, I'm not getting pinned in here anymore. Trap Sentry says, oh yes you are. Oh, those Marines stuck on the choke are not socially distancing. That was a pretty sick move by Trap, but I think he's just delaying the inevitable. Byun is taking his natural. Not sure what the point of that mule drop was, but it was kind of cool. But can we talk about what Trap's got going on in his main? He got his Robo support pay up, and now he's making Colossa. But if my eyes do not deceive me, he's got a Warp Prism in waiting, and he's upgrading Warp Prism speed. Now, I could be wrong, but that is a pattern for Colossus drops. If the #1 Protoss player in the world is doing it, it's officially a thing. I've done a video about this before, but the theory behind it is, it's an efficient way to kill Marines. Byun's moving out, and that's not a surprise. #1, it's Byun, and #2, when you come out of a contain, you usually have the bigger army. Oh yeah, that is a Warp Prism with a Colossus inside. It's just going the wrong way. He's gonna use it to defend. That's too bad. Byun's attack is actually gonna be pre-stim, but the tanks are really gonna bully the Stalkers. I was gonna say they can push back the Colossus too, but it looks like the Colossus is going on offense. Oh, terrible time for Trap to start his third. Byun hits first, he's gonna splat that. Meanwhile, he's finally taking care of that proxy. And drop it like it's hot! It is Colossus drop in the house! We are not killing Marines though, we're butchering SCVs instead, it would seem. That's pretty good too. Trap's gotta figure out how he's gonna dislodge that Terran force. He's gonna wish the Zealot Legs upgrade he just started was here already. Oh, it's a recall! He's bringing back the Colossus. He's bringing Sexy back. Colossus drops are where it's at. Oh, getting a high ground position with his Colossus is a really good idea, but he doesn't have the range upgrade. Actually, it's an Immortal that's in that Warp Prism. Trap is gonna rush. The tanks splash everything, but then the Zealots get on top of the tanks. Who's got this? I think Trap has to have the cleanup here. Yes. Byun boosts off and gets away, though he leaves behind a Raven to keep everybody busy. Trap's gonna chase that out and send his Colossus over to renew the attack. The Raven might have caught sight of that battle duck though. Oh, Byun hasn't left. He's circled around for a Marine drop. There's the boost. That is nasty. Meanwhile, Daddy Longlegs going after the Terran Natural. I love the SCVs that just go on mining right under his legs. Just ignore the giant moving pillars. Oh, the missile turret. Oh! Trap did not account for the missile turret. He lost his Colossus. Trap cleans up the main. He cleans up the auto turret in his natural. Byun is completely in his psycho-aggressive attack mode. This is when he's at his best. He just hits different location, different location, different location. And he makes his opponent look so immobile. Trap is not immobile. He's got Stalkers and Warp Prism speed. It just feels like he's playing carriers. Okay, some Archons should help. Trap's got to do something if he wants to survive the next couple minutes. If he can get that third up, he should be able to hang in. Oh, but Byun's not even gonna let him have a spotter pylon. Oh no, Trap, it's a trap, man. The Marines are sucking him in so he can get sandwiched. Oh man, those Stalkers are wishing they had Blink. Where are those Archons? Here it is. Archon Singular will have to do. Byun's bio's upgrading like mad. He's adding combat shields, concussive shells, and +1 armor. Trap is on the run. He's looking at sacking his third. But the permanently unpredictable Byun is not actually attacking the third. He's picked up. He's going for the main. He's going for the jugular. And he's streaming units to reinforce at this point. Oh, what a nasty place to hide his tank. He's using the Toss Sim City as a shield for his tank. The Zealots have to go all the way around to get the cleanup. They do it. Byun is in God mode right now. And now that Trap put his probes back on the third, now Byun will kill it. Combat shields is going to kick in and that bio is going to get that much harder to deal with. Welcome to the planetarium, people. It's a laser light show. Terran almost has double the army of the Protoss at this point. The Archons are forcing them back, but they are getting punished for their efforts. Oh, very nice Warp Prism juggling. The injured Archons got picked up. Trap's trying to add warp gates. He needs production. Byun is taking his third. He's going to cement his economic lead. Concussive shells making life so difficult for those Zealots. Just as in Game 2, Trap retreats to his mineral line and then he bursts out. But Byun's reinforcements are arriving. There is no army left for the Protoss. Nobody can accuse Trap of quitting early. He's fighting tooth and nail, but Byun has this. He's on top of his Nexus. Not even battery overcharge can save him. There's the GG. Byun takes the series. He comes back from a royal beating in Game 1 to win 2 straight convincing wins. So I have a new Protoss victory clip. So of course, Protoss is never gonna win again. Just gonna have to get to work on that Terran one. Poor Trap, a lot of stuff just kind of went wrong for him in that final game. I can't say I'm a huge fan of the 1-gate Stalker rush. I guess the thinking is if you surprise him and get past that supply depot before it's raised, it'd be pretty nasty. And even if you didn't, Stalkers are really good against Marines until they get stim. The problem is, Byun blindly went for his factory. He either had that sixth sense or he just got really lucky. With an early factory, he had all kinds of options to deal with the Stalkers. Firstly, Widow Mines and eventually tanks. I did like that force field on the ramp. And maybe there was another part to this. If you don't lose your probe, you can add to your proxy and really establish a more impressive contain. All in all, 3 rather decent games in this series. If you were thinking about it, I'd be grateful if you could subscribe.
Consider it done.
So from my base to yours, Zugzwang out. To continue your Starcraft journey, Nova advises you to click the video in the upper rectangle. But Kerrigan warns you to watch your 6 and click the video in the bottom rectangle. Or you can stimpack your Starcraft experience. Subscribe to Zugzwang Starcraft. Just hit the circle. From my base to yours, Zugzwang out.